We're at IFA 2024 in Berlin, and there is so much tech at one of these events, and one of our jobs is to go through it all and find some of that coolest tech, and that's exactly what we've done for this video. So let's show you some of the coolest tech that we've seen so far at IFA 2024. One of the coolest gadgets that we've spotted at IFA 2024 is the Timekettle W4 Pro AI Interpreter Earbuds. These earbuds put AI right in your ears, and if you ever needed some real-time translation or meeting notes, then this is exactly what you need to use. It's a little bit like having your own personal translator with you 24/7. And the good thing is that these earbuds just look like your regular pair of earbuds, yet they'll help you with translation. It sounds a little bit sci-fi-ish, doesn't it? Well, Timekettle is definitely turning heads here at IFA 2024 with their launch event, and it was packed with media and influencers, and you can kind of see why. The W4 Pro can handle 40 of the world's most spoken languages, so you can chat with pretty much anyone, anywhere. They recognize as well over 93 different accents, so you should be covered wherever you go in the world. And it's not just that, they work offline in 13 languages as well, so you're good even without any Wi-Fi. Timekettle told us that it has 95% accuracy in its translation, so no matter where you go, who you speak to, it should be a really nice, smooth experience. The real magic though is that you can talk directly to people from other cultures without a translator or a clunky app, which is really nice. And this is not just for business folk or frequent flyers, tourists or students, it's anybody who needs to deal with a new language, and I reckon that you'll love this. Imagine if you're in a restaurant or you're at a market and you need to know the price of something, or you just want to know if a bit of food has something you're allergic to in it, then this is where these really come into their own. These earbuds aren't just translators. What they can do is they can also transcribe your meetings as well. So if you take a meeting on something like Zoom, you can have a look at the app and you'll be able to see the real-time translations without any delay. Design-wise, they have nailed it. Open ear, comfortable, it has 3 mics, and you can still hear the world around you, but it keeps your chat private, which is really nice. Honestly, the Timekettle W4 Pro might just be the coolest thing at IFA 2024. They're quick, they're reliable, and the design is perfect as well, because they just look like your regular earbuds. The other must-see product here at IFA 2024 is the Eureka J15 Pro Ultra vacuum. If you're a tech enthusiast who loves gadgets and making life easier, then this robot vacuum might just be the thing you want to check out. It's got the highest suction of any robot vacuum out there, with a whopping 16,200 pascals of suction power, and this thing is a bit of a cleaning beast. It's not just about raw power though. The J15 Pro Ultra comes with the first active detangling tech in the game. Most robot vacuums struggle with hair getting tangled in the brush, but not the J15 Pro Ultra. What this does is it uses high density blades that slice through hair 400 times a minute, meaning that you never have to go in and untangle all that hair with your fingers, which is a little bit gross. So no more stopping to rip out those clumps of hair, it's all taken care of. And then you have a look at the self-cleaning base station, which is also an industry first. Regular base stations can clean the robot, but they usually forget the base itself, which is a little bit annoying, and that lets dirt pile up and just messes with the mop's effectiveness. The Eureka J15 Pro Ultra space station though has a built-in scraper, a debris collection area. Every time it cleans the mop, it scrapes off the debris, dries out and collects it into a dust bag. Now if that wasn't enough, it also has scrub extended mop technology for extended powerful mopping that covers even more ground. So basically you'll never have to touch the dirty tray again, and that's just next level convenience there. Plus it is smart, like really smart. It has intelligent mess clarification, which means it knows the difference between dry and wet messes and uses different strategies for each of them. So whether it's crumbs or spills, the J15 Pro Ultra handles it effectively without wasting any time. And Eureka's been around for over 100 years, so it's clear that they're not just resting on their legacy, but they push boundaries, and the J15 Pro Ultra is proof of just that. Seriously though, if you're looking for one of the best robot vacuums out there, then the Eureka J15 Pro Ultra is one of these things that you need to go and check out. This wouldn't be a cool tech video though without mentioning probably the coolest folding phone in the world right now, and that is the Honor Magic V3. This is just 9.2 millimeters when folded, and when you unfold it, it measures in at just 4.35 millimeters, which is ridiculously thin. The phone also comes with some pretty impressive specs. Firstly, powered by the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, which you expect, and it comes with 12 gigs of RAM. So any tasks that you throw at it, it should just be able to handle with ease. One of the most impressive things though about the V3 is its cameras, and that's because it's so thin, yet it does pack some flagship cameras. There's a 50 megapixel wide, 50 megapixel 3.5 times telephoto, and a 40 megapixel ultra wide. So like I mentioned, these flagship cameras come on the world's thinnest foldable. The phone also comes into its own when you're using that folding display for watching content, as the inner display is 7.92 inches and 120 Hertz. And I'll be honest with you, it's a bit of a dream to use when watching stuff. The cover display isn't bad either at 6.4 inches, and when it's closed, it feels like you're using a regular phone. So I'm a big fan of that display. There's also nice upgrades on the V3 from last year's V2, and it now gets wireless charging, which can go up to 50 watts, and it's also water resistant at IPX8. So all around in terms of hardware, this is probably the best folding phone out there, and it's available for just under £1,700. If you want to see a full video on the Honor Magic V3 though, just click the video in the top corner. Next up is something you might have seen around before, but now DJI are getting in on the action. This is DJI's new palm-sized drone that is made for vlogs. It's even the lightest drone that DJI have ever released at just 135 grams, and it can be fully controlled without a remote, and it can be launched right from the palm of your hand. You can connect it to the DJI app as well if you want a little bit more control over that drone. It can record 4K at 30 frames a second, and it has onboard stabilization, which means that the footage that you can get is going to be impressively smooth. It can also take 12 megapixel stills. DJI have given us 22 gigs of storage, which means you can capture around about 40 minutes of 4K footage. You can also use the DJI Mic 2 and connect this for some really good audio options. And if you use that DJI Flight app, it will just start recording from your phone's internal microphone. It doesn't have the longest flight time in the world, but it can do up to 18 minutes, and that should be long enough for any vlogs that you might want to film. There's a few quick shot modes you can pick from as well. So Droney, the drone flies backwards and ascends with the camera locked on the subject and records a video. There's been a ton of these drones that you can pick up for cheap, but now that DJI is in on the action, this is something that you might want to seriously consider. Another piece of cool tech that has stood out at IFA 2024 is the Atlas PT Ultra. This is a home security camera, but has some seriously impressive specs that potentially make it one of the best. First off, it can do full crystal clear true 4K video with its 8 megapixel sensor, and the images it can produce actually look really nice. It even has crisp images when it's dark, and the video looks not too dissimilar from its daytime 4K. This is because of its 4K Color X technology, and the camera has an ultra-large f1 aperture with a 1.8-inch sensor, which means that it can capture up to 4 times more light than normal IR cameras. It also means that you don't have to use spotlights to see the recordings in dark situations. The camera also has continuous 4K recording, and it's able to do this with its huge 20,000 milliamp hour battery. The battery gives you up to 12 hours of continuous 4K recording, and that can go up to 8 days on a single charge. But you can also set customized recording schedules using the app, which makes sure it records it when you want. The camera can also capture 10 seconds of valuable footage before an event actually happens. The camera also has 360-degree vision, so you can pretty much see everything in a single frame, and it also has AI face tracking, so it can detect people walking into frame, but it can also detect animals and vehicles. For the recordings, they're all kept locally on the device, so no cloud storage here, but you can add a micro SD card to expand that storage up to 512 gigabytes. For me though, what makes this more enticing is that once you've bought the camera, there are no subscription fees either, which is nice to see because no one needs to add more subscription fees on top of what they're already paying. It wouldn't be a cool tech video if we didn't show you something ridiculous as well, and we've got a concept laptop from Acer. The project is called DualPlay, where you have a Switch-style controller built right into the laptop, and of course this is a concept, as these things always tend to be, but it was a real-life working concept, and I kind of like the idea of this. The controller is built into the trackpad, and you can just pop it out by using a 2-finger gesture just above the keyboard, and it's a little bit James Bond-like. The controller features a couple of joysticks with, of course, some LEDs, a D-pad, action buttons, shoulder triggers, and a pogo pin connector for charging. Basically, this is a full-on controller inside of the laptop, and as well as that, you can actually pop those 2 Joy-Cons off the controller module and use them as like mini controllers, so think of it a little bit like a Nintendo Switch. The overall idea needs some work because it has some pretty big gaps where the trackpad/controller lives, and it doesn't feel that premium to play with. But as a concept, I feel like you can let all of those little problems slide, especially if it's quite cool. I didn't particularly like the laptop design. It's all a little bit LED heavy for me, and I'm not sure that I'd buy into the idea of a controller trackpad combo, but I know some people will actually really like this. But remember, it is a concept, so it's probably something that you won't be able to pick up anytime soon. So that is some of the coolest tech that we've seen so far here at IFA 2024, and we've got loads more to show you whilst we're on the ground here in Berlin. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and of course let me know what you think of some of the coolest tech that we found in the comments below. And if you do all of that, then I will see you in the next video.